as we kick off, let's have a look at immunity and how we're going to powerhouse up our bodies. So I've entitled it from vulnerable to vibrant, building an unshakable immune system. And, as I said, this is absolutely critical today, very, very important. There's an uncountable number of toxins out there and parasites and all sorts of things in the air, in the food we eat, in the water we drink. And we need this powerhouse. We need to build this unshakable immune system. We need to be a step ahead rather than behind. So let's have a look here, why it matters. So a lot of our food isn't exactly how our grannies and grandpas receive their food. The soil is a bit depleted, and the air is not that clean, the water is not that clean, so the nutrient content of our food is reduced drastically, and the food often is presented as ultra-processed with additives, flavorants, preservative, etc. All of these very toxic to our body, and any toxin is going to reduce immunity because the immunity of the body needs to go and fight the toxin instead of doing the normal cleaning, repairing, and looking after the army. It's having to do other things instead. So then we start getting this toxic buildup and reduced immunity. So very, very important. And also, emotions have a very big role to play in our immunity. They will reduce immunity. So we've got to look at the rising stress factor and environmental toxins, depleted nutrients, and increasing immunity challenges in modern day life. Understanding the immune system, it's a complex network of cells and organs, our body. And it's got to repair, protect us, and it also remembers from the past. So it's very useful because it builds up its memory. So that was sort of the idea of a vaccination, hopefully that it would build up a memory to an antigen and not give you the disease, but that is a debatable thing. Anyway, 70%, actually 75% of our immune system actually lies in the gut. The other 25% is we're looking at the bone marrow and the white blood cells and the other blood cells, the beta cells, T cells, NKF cells, and they form the rest of our immunity along with immune transfer factors. I'm going to be speaking about that today and showing you how I've integrated these into the 365 Healthy by Choice toolkit, a range of pure, natural, and unique nutrients, food. They're not supplements. That's very, very different. This is a food that we should normally be eating. They should normally be in our trolley. So we're going to speak a lot about that. But just to sort of clarify and finalize things, chronic stress is a very big problem. The toxins that disrupting our cellular function are big problems, and lack of sleep. So there's a lot of things that can cause stress. And, a lot of us are guilty of not enough sleep. And many of us are on screens till late at night. Then we try and sleep. We don't have enough REM sleep, which is our dream state. We don't restore our immunity and our nervous system. Why? Because we sleep with our phones on. We sleep them right near us, nuking us 24/7. The lights on as long as we can. Some people fall asleep with the lights on even. We're sleeping in a bed which has got 2 electrical points because there's a lamp on each side usually. We're sleeping and bathed in a field of electromagnetic smog. So how is our immune system ever going to restore itself and our nervous system? This creates huge problems because it stops the body's ability to produce the immune building blocks, which I'll speak to you about now. So let's meet our inner army with 90% of our cells being microbial. I've spoken about this a lot, and you can refer to many of my YouTube educational videos. I think there must be over 300 there already. 90% of our cells are microbial. 99% of our genes are microbial. They're not even ours. So a very small percent will determine our height, our hair color, our eye color, etc. we need these good bacteria because they're producing, apart from immunity, our vitamins and our neurotransmitters. So that would be serotonin, dopamine, GABA, PE, and the rest. Very, very important, produced in the gut, vitamin B, vitamin K. And we need to have a diverse cross-section of microbes in our diet as possible. Last week, I spoke about the gut microbiome. So do yourself a favor and go and listen to last week's as well, because you'll get all that information from there. And I'm just going here quickly. All right. So very important. These are beautiful microbes under, high, obviously, electromagnetic free. Okay. Now we're looking at the power of nutrients, and I'm going to be exposing you to a lot of things today. But, fresh, preferably raw, whole foods are nature's medicine. And if you get the opportunity to grow your own, great. The more colors, the better, because they're bringing in the phytosterols to boost immunity and antioxidants. And so therefore, we're never going to get away from natural food. So that's a gorgeous picture there of a lot of our foods. A lot of our foods bring in exactly what we need. So I've started listing, and those of you who have your pens and paper ready, in order for the body to function, we need minerals. And I'm going to talk about our Ormus Gold, our Shilajits, our those main minerals, or Irish sea moss, for example. And then individual minerals being the calciums, magnesiums, potassiums that you're going to get from foods. We need the good oils. From a physics point of view, from a scientific point of view, flaxseed oil has the principles that I need in order to build immunity for people. One of the things that helps a degenerative client, I'm not going to use the word heal, is their immunity. So the number one thing is to build that immunity. The number two food that's deficient are the oils, because the flaxseed oil fills in the gaps around the cell membrane, which has got a double phospholipid layer. And heated oils don't do this. Heated oils are toxic free radicals, and they will cause degeneration. But flaxseed oil comes and plugs the holes in the cell membrane, preventing viruses, bacteria, and funguses from entering. Absolutely crucial and critical. Most people are totally deficient in microbes, but in fatty acids as well. So these are now very simple building blocks to help us build our immunity. The good minerals are important because they are the superconductors of electricity. They get the ball rolling. They get the body charged. Once we've got a charged body, an oiled body, we can then look at proteins. And I'm going to speak to you about the replica DNA, because it's got the 5 building block proteins. And we need our microbes, of course. And we need our nutrient-dense whole foods with the proteins, the long-chain sugars. Please be very aware. Our brain needs a long-chain sugar that you find in algae, pollens, medicinal mushrooms, long-chain sugars. And you find those in the nutrient-dense whole foods. And which also then have vitamins, minerals of their own, and phytosterol antioxidants of their own, and general antioxidants. So we always want to fall back on food state. Otherwise, it becomes a supplement. So bringing in the stress, reducing stress, good sleep, we're going to build our resilience and reset our inner balance. So we've got to look at definitely controlling our stress. Stress, is going to hit in on the brain, the neurotransmitter release, the hormone release, and actually stop the release. So a polluted body and too much stress, you're going to have a problem building your immunity and just general functioning anyway. And I've talked about sleep. I've talked about the importance of sleep. So just coming back to that, 2 hours before we sleep, we should not be on the screen. And then we will have a full dream state, full REM sleep, and wake up rejuvenated and fresh in the morning. So the cell phone needs to be on airport mode and out the room, or off if you can. Very, very dangerous. And of course, very important to build in exercise and movement into our daily program, because that's going to support detox and circulation, and then our white blood cells have to do less. So let's move now specifically to nature's allies, where I want to really share with you how easy it is to build your immunity. So here we're starting off with minerals. They're almost gold: silver, copper, nickel, platinum, palladium, ruthenium, osmium, iridium. These are the top 10 platinum precious metal minerals. Superconductors. My almost gold is alchemy. It is a transducer of energy. And that is what is going to charge your battery. It even comes in a silver paper. The silver paper is to protect the electrons from flying out. So if you do buy it, make a little cap, keep it completely sealed, and keep those electrons in. It won't go off, but the electron spin will just reduce. So number one, if you want to build your immunity, is almost gold. It was used singly in the bubonic plague, just by the way. It's written in a book and I've read it. Also there, I'm going to bring in things like shilajit, Irish sea moss, 85, 92 minerals, nature state. I'm also going to bring in our alkaline replenish powders, because they also have calciums, magnesiums, and potassiums in different strength and different orientations to build our minerals. We're now going to be talking about proteins. The replica RNA DNA, 5 building block proteins: uracil, adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine. I've talked about these many, many times. Uracil goes with the RNA, and that is messenger RNA, which digests protein, by the way, metabolizes protein. Those people who've not been metabolizing protein and relying on your immune system to remove the waste, rather get replica RNA and metabolize your protein properly. It's not the only thing, but it's a major thing. And then we've got adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine, the building blocks of any chromosome, any genetic material. And from those building blocks, we will build every single amino acid that the body needs. So wow, who needs a protein shake when you can take replica RNA, DNA? You're getting it all. And this is backed up with science, and doctors referring to this as well. So yay, get hold of that. Also, it knocks on the door and it tells our immune system to go and find the unnatural toxins in the body that our immune system, the microbes that our immune system was not naturally wired to find. For example, the GMO organisms. So it knocks on the door, tells it to go and find it. In that way, it's boosting immunity. It's used at the Brzezinski Cancer Clinic in America, widely, routinely. They use the bacterial cell wall fragments. It's vegan. So I would really urge people to stock up on that. Put that in your trolley with your flaxseed oil, cold pressed, for the reasons that I spoke about earlier. Get your microbiome reset. Honestly, people stop me in the stores and say to me, Jane, your microbiome reset is hands down the best. This has got over 80 live strains and substrains. I'm not talking about colony forming units because I don't have to. It's not part of that. There's more than enough units and organisms in here. They will adapt to your gut biome and replenish it. The maximum you can get in the fridge is 12, hand-selected, hand-selected. We are talking here about naturally occurring 80 to 120 live strains. So that will build your biome. So if 75% of our microbiome is in our gut, when, let's say, there's a lung infection, the microbes get caught, they shapeshift into the pathogenic aggressive form of the candida, the fungus, the bacteria, go there as an army to go and fight the infection. At the same time, the white blood cells are called in to go and fight the infection. Now, if you're relying only on your white blood cells and you don't have virtually no microbes in your gut, you've got a very poor immune system. You've got a very poor chance of winning the fight. So we have to make sure that we're supercharged here. And I suggest that you take the microbiome reset, 3 to 4 times a day, every time you eat and maybe before you sleep. You can have it in a bit of water, plain, however you like it. 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. I would definitely do that. And just make sure you've got these microbes. The vitamin B and K important, the neurotransmitters. People who have depression, get onto the probiotics, because The serotonin is produced in the gut. 90% of serotonin and all the neurotransmitters, dopamine, are produced in the gut. Therefore, we can't do without them. Furthermore, the microbiome reset digests our food. So malabsorption is not the issue, it's maldigestion. So if you've got the flaxseed oil, it's going to be lining your gut and your lungs and enabling oxygen to transfer into the blood and into the cell, enabling food, digested food, to transfer into the blood and into the cell. And then, wow, we have energy because we can produce ATP. We've talked about this before. GTP, CTP, TTP, because we have all five, but in this case, four building block proteins to produce energy. Wow. And we've got the messenger RNA coming in, which is uracil based. And we can then produce, the cells can divide absolutely beautifully, the strongest cells you can want. And it's moving with intelligence because these are bacterial cell fragments that are produced in sync with the earth and what's happening in their environment. So, wow, we've got a fantastic army already. To build the bone marrow, to stimulate the bone marrow to produce white blood cells, NKF, beta T cells, killer cells, etc., you're going to need these good nutrients. You're going to need these proteins. You're also going to need these proteins that are found in, for example, our activa stem cells. Here we've got 5 plant-based ultra nutrients: the raw jelly, cordyceps, lion's mane, photy, and blue-green algae. Top 5 adult plant-based stem cell producers. They will in the raw jelly and in the blue-green algae, you will also produce RNA from those, because in my algae mix and my bee mix, the chlorellas, the blue-green algae, the raw jelly, the pollen will produce mRNA. So absolutely wonderful. Now we're talking on a realm of super foods. There must be in our trolley. Less lettuce and cottage cheese and stuff. More of these, because it's not about the quantity of food, it's the quality of food that you eat. So here we would do the stem cells 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening if there's severe requirement for immune boosting. And those are those chronic illnesses. Medicinal mushrooms would be same, because in stem cells I've got the 2 major lion's mane and cordyceps, but in the medicinal mushroom mix we've also got reishi, chaga, maitake, shiitake, coriolis, and then the algae mix we've got blue-green algae, chlorella, spirulina. Bee mix is bee pollen, propolis, and raw jelly. So you can see how I've broken it all down, and ending up with the coup de grace, which is basically the stress defense shield or the brain fuel. I made this long time ago when my children were small. It's over 30 super nutrients. So you're getting the medicinal mushrooms, you're getting the algae mixes, you're getting stress adaptogens, you're getting aromatase inhibitors, all in either a capsule or a super smoothie. The smoothies are delicious. I called it my fast food because literally can't take you more than a minute. You will pre-soak your berries. You will pre-soak your almonds. You will bring in some coconut oil. Here I'll bring in coconut oil because it contains the precursors for pregnenolone, which produces estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So wow, we do need coconut oil apart from its antibacterial, antifungal effects. And I will bring in a bit of flaxseed oil. I'll bring in my honey, a big tablespoon of the stress defense shield or the brain fuel. I'll put in cold water, and then I will add nice warm water, and you blend that up, and you've got this malt drink that is to die for. And there you are. You whiz it up in the NutriBullet, and it's done. Or you add it to your Budwick blend, where you blended the no-fat cottage cheese with the flaxseed oil in a 2-to-1 ratio. I will then fold in the brain fuel or the stress defense shield. This is how I get my nutrients in. This is how I live. Obviously, you want to bring in the detox practices. You want to remove calcification, the decalcification flush, the gallbladder flush. You want to increase alkalinity, the zeolite. You want to bring in the replenished alkaline powders. You want to remove protein buildup which often accumulates in the lymph. I'm going to bring in the replica RNA here. I did speak to you about that. So you're removing calcium, you're removing fats. And here you're going to make sure that you're only consuming cold-pressed oils. So under the microscope with my clients, when you take the cold-pressed flaxseed oil that I bring out, which is bottled and packed for me, sent straight to me, it's not kept in a warehouse, I do not see residual oil in the blood. And that's critical, because once you've got oil and muck in the blood can't flow, which means the oxygen is not going to get to the cells and the organs. So we want a body with high oxygen, low inflammation, alkaline pH, and hydrated. We've got to have that to get going. And then we need these ultra nutrients to come in and maximize your immune strength. So importance of the stress adaptogens in the stress defense shield is that it lowers the emotional stress. I will, however, say that we need to do the how work, holistic ancestral orientation processes that I do. We can also do the quantum device, quantum skio device assessments, because these ones here work with physical, neurological, emotional, and spiritual. So very important to bring in the emotional release, to release stress, and people, their job stress and this stress and that stress. Well, take some breath, sit back and work out which stress you can control and which you need to give up and which isn't yours. And keep your day calm and breathe. I think my big message here is to breathe. So we want to bring in the nutrients and detox. And the 365 Healthy by Choice range is absolutely geared for this. And, you know, there are thousands of real life transformations in my testimonies on my website of people who've moved from vulnerability to vibrancy. And, you know, instantly the digestion improves. The energy improves. The sleep improves. And as we detox those horrible organisms, parasites, etc. out, detox the toxins out, the feeling of vibrance just improves. It's automatic. And we're allowing the body's natural potential to heal the body. We let that innate potential kick in, using the intelligence of nature. I sit back, I sleep, your body does the work. So wow. And it's every time. It's not maybe. Obviously, there's idiosyncrasies, different people are unique, of course, but this is how we do it. So your 5 steps to unshakable immunity. Wow. So nourish your gut daily, bring those probiotics in, bring those oils in, bring in your prebiotics like the artichokes, the leeks, the celeries, detox regularly, the oxygen, most importantly, the DMSO. Manage your stress proactively, prioritize your restorative sleep, take your breaks, take your midweek, every weekend off, and so on. And I'm using the word here, supplement wisely. You must go to food state. It's essential, it's imperative. The rest can be chemical, synthetic, and you don't know what it's doing to you. I've talked about that a lot. So here, let's end off with our beautiful mid-year specials, which I think you most already will be aware of. So on the website, under sale, we've got all our sale items. Many of these are on sale. The replica RNA, the bee pollens, the microbiome resets, etc. are on sale. I urge you to go and look there. I think we've also got the para-immune and the parastop. Those are our big parasite-reducing herbs. And I'm also offering mid-year a 30-minute special on the consultation. Was 890 Rand, now 775. So there's 15% off all of those. I urge you to go and look and use this month to really bolster your immunity. Create that unshakable immunity that we all want, and be that step ahead. To think clearly, live productively in all areas of our lives. We want to follow prevention rather than waiting for when it's too late. 365 days a year. That's it from Dr. Jane Mackenzie. I hope you've enjoyed it all.